48 years ago, on April 8, 1960, the first official search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, was carried out by a young radio astronomer, Dr. Frank D. Drake, where he pointed a 26-meter telescope at a few nearby stars in hope of receiving extraterrestrial signals from other advanced alien civilizations. Since then, there have been more than 100+ independent SETI projects.
Some of the more well-known projects include Serendip, located at UC Berkeley, and Project Phoenix, an independent SETI project operated out of Arcebio, Puerto Rico, New South Wales, Australia, and West Virginia. Fame came to the SETI program on August 15, 1977, where an American astronomer, Dr. Jerry R. Ehman, detected an incredibly strong, unexplainable radio signal coming from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. The signal was picked up by Big Ear Radio Telescope at Ohio State University. It has been nicknamed the WOW signal, because Dr. Ehman quickly circled the signal and wrote WOW next to it. The WOW signal was in utmost importance at the time, because it was thought of as first actual contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal lasted about 50 seconds and then quickly dissipated. The signal was never heard again.
No other unknown signal discoveries have been made by SETI since then. In fact, SETI hasn't made any real discovery of extraterrestrial life. However, one could argue that no real discovery so far is a major discovery in itself.
It is possible that ET life may not even be interested in us, or the signals we are sending out aren't strong enough, or they are not in the right frequency in which they are looking. It could even mean we are unique in the entire universe, but that's a fact that many astronomers hope is not the case.
As of today, we have the Allen Telescope Array, a far more advanced radio telescope which allows for continuous SETI observing. Many other more powerful telescopes are also on their way.
Amongst other methods in the search for ET life, the multiple SETI projects use interstellar organic chemistry models, based on our own earthly chemistry models, in hopes of finding distant planets similar to Earth. Another one of SETI's well-known projects is the search for artificially produced radio signals from nearby stars. The basis of this project is to detect radio waves at a bandwidth of less than 300 Hz, which is a basis for waves to be considered artificial.
However, one major wall that SETI cannot possibly cross is the issue with the speed of light constant. Even if they can pick up these waves, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, or so current physics and mathematical models infer at the moment. However, if there is intelligent life out there, say 10 million light years away from Earth, by the time we pick up evidence of it, the alien civilization would have had to be at least 10 million years old. It's a troubling variable in the search for ET life, but one that the SETI team is working on nevertheless. On a more lively note, according to SETIleague.org, the results of our research support that life on other planets is mathematically probable. Although our calculations show that life should be on other planets, there is no strong empirical evidence to lend credence to this theoretical statement. They also state that scientists will not know for a fact that other stars have planets until they or their equipment arrive at another star system. The empirical evidence needed to accurately assess whether or not a planet has the ability to sustain life as we know it will not be available until such time as man actually sets foot upon that planet. However, evidence has advanced enough to strongly suggest that stars have planets, and some of these planets may be able to sustain life. Also, according to SETI.org, SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, began early in the space age. Only 2 years after the launch of Sputnik, two physicists at Cornell University, Philip Morrison and Giuseppe Cosini, published an article in the journal Nature, in which they noted the relative ease with which radio messages could be sent between stars.
This led to the remarkable suggestion that it might be possible to detect the presence of extraterrestrial civilizations using radio telescopes. The two physicists also proposed that one part of the electromagnetic spectrum, the so-called microwave region, was particularly effective for communication across space. Not only is this the naturally quietest part of the band, but it also boasts several natural emission lines that would be studied by radio astronomers of any advanced society. It seemed to make sense to suggest that cosmic phone calls could and would be made at these microwaves.
Although SETI is one of the most significant projects in terms of searching for extraterrestrial life, there are many other organizations attempting to do the same. The European Space Agency, known as ESA, and NASA are two good examples that are very focused in the search for ET life. Both of these organizations, as well as Russia's space program, who additionally has made a contract with
NASA to provide instrumentation for moon probing missions, have decided to take a closer look at Europa, one of Jupiter's many moons.
They will send a probe to Europa's icy surface to look for evidence of life. According to the article, Russia plans to join Extraterrestrial Life Search Program by Gabriel Gache. Europa has a solid surface made out of watery ice. Also, movements of the solid sheet covering the whole surface of the moon suggests that it may have a layer of liquid water. This environment is very similar to that of the North Pole, which presents a thick layer of ice floating on an ocean of liquid water. ESA is planning on sending a robotic probe onto Europa. According to Lev Zelony, head of the Space Research Institute, the plan is that the robot will melt through the thick layer of ice and enter in the predicted ocean and look for evidence of existence of life. According to the article, Russia to search for life on Jupiter's moon Europa, French astronomer Pierre-Simon Laplace once said, "Where there is an ocean, life could arise." In this respect, after Mars, the Europa satellite is probably the most intriguing place in the solar system, says Zelony. This project is expected to span between 2015 to 2025.
Outside of American-based astronomy projects, Russia is also doing its part in the search for ET life. According to the article titled "Russia to Launch Space Mail for ET Civilizations," in 2005, Russia planned to send messages to ET civilizations with the help of navigating satellite called GLONASS-M. The GLONASS-M is similar to that of the United States Global Positioning System, or GPS. The satellite will orbit Earth at the height of 20,000 kilometers and is planned to stay there for the remainder of the time. Information in the form of text and drawings for ET beings can be placed on aluminum plates, which make so-called cargo models to balance the satellite's center of mass. 6 informational plates were placed on GLONASS-M 12L satellite on October 26th and 25th of 2007. Same time, 6 GLONASS-M satellites were launched into space. According to Russia's first Deputy Prime Minister, Sergei Ivanov, the launches would make the GLONASS-M satellites up to 18 satellites.
According to the article, GLONASS-M satellite is shipped to Baikonur. Russia is planning on sending 6 more GLONASS-M satellites to space in 2009. In addition, the Lavochkin Research and Production Association in Russia is working on a new satellite called Spectre-R, X-ray satellite, which is to be launched to space in search for extraterrestrial civilization. The Spectre-R carries a 20-meter antenna. Polishuk, who is head of the Moscow-based enterprise, states that Lavochkin Research and Production Association is also working on interplanetary missions. He states that in 2009 they are planning a mission to Phobos, a satellite of Mars, which will include a landing and collection of rock samples. Polishuk estimates that this mission will take about 11 months. Lavochkin is also planning on sending probes to the moon after 2010. Polishuk claims that in 2010 it will be possible to circumnavigate the moon, make a landing on it, and deploy a moon rover for an excursion.
As for the future of SETI, the sky's the limit. First of all, SETI has created a computer program that gives people the chance to explore the heavens themselves to find intelligent life. This program is called SETI at Home. The SETI program did this to get the help of the average person to help the search for life. Since there are countless stars in the sky, the SETI program benefits greatly from everyday volunteers who download this program and attempts to help. The SETI program plans to continue to use this program as well as continue the radio signal search. They also plan on extending the frequency that they analyze with the radio signals and are already keeping tabs on over 100,000 stars. SETI program also plans to begin searching for very fast optical and infrared pulses from a million stars. This might be a signal of communication from extraterrestrials. Finally, the most labor-intensive and the hardest goal to accomplish will be to build a very large sky survey array capable of detecting strong, transient radio signals from billions of stars. Based on his own estimations of life in the universe, astronomer Seth Shostak, for example, believes that by the years 2020 to 2025, we will get a conclusive signal and proof of alien contact.
Now that you have learned a lot about SETI, life on other planets, and everything in between, we would like to hear what you guys think. Please feel free to leave any input or questions in the comments section. Thanks.